Welcome back, darlings. In this video I've got a Tesla Model Y which I'm cleaning as a charity prize. So we're raising money at my daughter's school. Silent auction. One of the things I put up was a deep clean and cleanse of the interior and exterior of someone's car. And this is the winning car. And what a stunner it is. What is it about Teslas that they really seem to get dirty more than other cars? I don't know what it is. Especially when you've got two kids. And so the inside is nice and trashed. It'll be quite a transformation on this. And I know you're looking at this rear bit and really wanting to see how I got all that carpet looking super clean. Unfortunately, the footage for that particular bit is corrupted and I can't use it. So I've got a little bit of me doing on the edges and I'll show you the afters of that particular one. But everything else is captured perfectly. So you can see what we're dealing with. Quite sandy, stony, strawy, foody. So I'm having to use every tool in the box really for this, and started off with this heavy vacuuming session and using the compressed air. So I'm using my Hyundai 50 litre silent compressor. Got a video review of that one over there. That's really handy, and I'm using my Nilfisk Buddy 2 with all its attachments to get through this. Buddy 2, I mean my Buddy 12.2. Which is something until July 22nd of 2024, I can get you 25% off with the code Llama25. So that is linked down below as well. And there's a review of that on the top right too. This is actually sped up twice. So it's going at 200%. But I want you to see, this is a trick that I use with the crevice tool. I use it upside down when I'm going into these seams. I kind of pull the seam back a bit and then using the crevice tool like that, I find gets the dirt out of those creases in seats much better than using it in the traditional orientation. As I'm gradually working around, you can kind of see that the whole job on this car took about 4.5 hours. So whilst a lot of the stuff you're watching is sped up, and believe me, this is actually sped up. And now you can see it's going super fast, but I needed all the time and all the tools for it, of which here is the turbo brush head on that vacuum cleaner. It's incredible. I mean, the difference that the vacuuming makes anyway is a big thing, but that tool really helps pick up big heavy bits of dirt, and that's where it's fantastic. But you need to get into the smaller cracks. Of course, you use your crevice tool. I'm finding that extension pole on the Nilfisk actually really handy for me being able to reach further inside the car without doing my back in, and as I'm not getting any younger, that's a preferable thing for me. Of course, you do get to a point where you do need to take that off and get in nice and close. That's fine, but it means that I save my back-breaking tasks to the minimum. I always struggle with Tesla carpet. It's especially the stuff in the Model 3 and the Model Y. It's not particularly good quality. I would say when I was doing this one, I really felt like the matte quality had been improved since earlier iterations that I've done. So that's a bit of a blessing, because I was really braced for them being very difficult to release, like the type of dirt that was in there, be it sand and straw and that sort of stuff. But it came out pretty well, so I'm pretty pleased about that. The Vortex gun I'm using on the air compressor line there is a really simple one. It's cheap, it's about £15 off eBay or Amazon. I'll put a link down to that. And everything else I'm using down in the description. I'm using the brush nozzle that comes with the Nilfisk Buddy 12.2 there. And I think this is a really nice brush. In my full review, I went into that in more detail. But one of the things I really like about the Tesla dashes is that they are so simple and they're very, very easy to clean, because there's no instrument binnacle really. And I used this to get the worst of the stuff off the dash, and I wiped it over properly later on. But in all fairness, this got, I would say, 95% of the dirt off it. So it was really, really easy. And of course, I don't have to go and clean out another cloth or anything afterwards. So yeah, winner. This is probably one of the best dusting brushes that I've used on a vacuum cleaner. This flexible crevice tool comes with the Nilfisk Buddy 212 car pack. Really useful for getting down the side of the seats, down the side of the bolsters and stuff. No matter how much you move the seats around, it's quite difficult to get into these spaces. So this is where it's incredibly useful. It's getting around seats, rear seats as well, very useful. Now, all of the mats I had took this approach with. So I vacuumed them inside the car to get any of the loose debris off them. Then I took them out and gave them a go with the mini turbo brush, going at different angles. Then I blew them out with the airline. Then I went over them again with the mini turbo brush. So it's because this loosens up a lot of stuff from deep within the pile, but it leaves it on top of the mat. Then the mini turbo brush has another way of agitating it and getting it out. Took all of those mats I did the same thing with, however this one needed wet vacuuming. So this is the driver's mat. I took the bag off the Nilfisk Buddy 212. Now I can use it as a wet vac or dry vac in this configuration. What I like to do when I'm shampooing the mats is I soak them out first. Then I will spray on some APC. This is Green Star at 1 to 10. Leave that for about 5 minutes to dwell before coming back to drill brush it, and then I power blast it out. At which point I might blow out with the airline to remove some of the excess water. I don't always. And I go at it with the wet vac extraction nozzle. That's a Draper nozzle on the Nilfisk. It fits it. It's perfect. Does a really, really good job. Brings them up looking like new. So that's all the vacuuming done. Now it's the quite labour intensive but enjoyable job of doing the wet work inside. So every time you see me spraying a cleaner on here, this is Koch Chemie Polestar at 1 to 20. And in most cases, this is more than sufficient. What I've got on my hand there is like one of those microfiber scrub pads, but it's super big. You know, you've got the XL pads. This thing's twice the size of one of those, and it's a mitt. I find it really, really useful. So there's a link to that and everything else down below. Again, using Polestar. And I'm just wiping up the excess here that I've been over with just a regular microfiber cloth. I think that's a Kirkland one. It doesn't matter. You just need something that's going to wipe off the excess, really. And I went around the whole of the vehicle, every surface I use Polestar on. So for me, it's not just a leather cleaner. It's a brilliant interior cleaner that happens to be completely leather safe. So the combination of this mitt, some various brushes, and that product got the seats looking brilliant, and all the door trims and all the plastics. There were bits though where it needed some extra cleaning, and that's where out comes the knockoff turner door. This thing's from Slim's. You're not going to see me use the other part of it here, which is where you can do the dust extraction hooked up to it, so you can kind of blow and suck at the same time. Said the nun to the vicar. But this really helps you do some deep cleaning without having to do too much work, if that makes sense. It really gets deep into the pile, gets the cleaner deep into the pile of the carpets, gets the cleaner deep into the plastics, and dislodges a lot of the dirt on there. Talking to the cleaner, what I've got in that, I'm spraying on Polestar there, but what's in the detergent bottle? That's ONR. Very, very mild, good dirt encapsulation. Really, it is the act of the water being, well, the liquid being blown out at high pressure that's doing a lot of the work. I don't often find I need lots of heavy surfactants in there. I can spray a bit extra on the panel if need be, which is what I did here with the Polestar. It's really, really effective and saves a lot of time. Now I'm doing the pedals. You can see actually I've got another block here. This is like another thing like a microfiber scrub pad, but it's harder. It's got a big firm sponge inside. I don't find it useful on many things. It is brilliant on these foot pedals, and I keep it just for that now. So giving them a quick blowout as well. And there's a little spill onto the carpet, so now I just have a quick blow with that. A bit of mud that fell off, blow it out, bit of ONR in there, mop it up, lovely and clean. What I'm doing here, you think, oh, I'm doing a dressing. I am, but I'm actually using Infinity Wax Interior Detailer on another microfiber scrub pad, like a regular one. And the reason I'm using the scrub pad still is that it allows me to do a bit of extra cleaning, but also allows me to apply some dressing. So that's why I'm using it. I use the scrub pad on one side and then I flip it over and use the microfiber side just to buff off any excess. Really effective. I'm not going all over every single surface. So you saw on the seat, I did the kind of like the bolster around the bottom. I didn't go on to the actual seat. That's to give it a bit of protection on those bits where there's lots of high traffic, where people rub in and stuff like that. But I didn't want to make the surface of the seat slippery. Hence why I'm doing it like this. So now the interior is finished, it's onto the exterior. So I start with the door jambs. I sprayed in some Green Star again in there, 1 to 10, let it dwell for a few minutes, went in with the detail brush, flushed it out. Doing that on a few other areas around here, and then I'm using the wash mitt. So I've already flushed them out once, then I'm using the wash mitt, and then I'm flushing it out with the pressure washer afterwards. That's with shampoo on that wash mitt. So it's proper wash process. Pre-wash the wheels a bit here. This is what I'm going to do the whole car with, and that is Koch Chemie VB at 2% PIR. On the tyres there, I'm using Shana Gloss Forced. It's Forced X, but it's done at the 1:1 dilution, so it's forced. The first bit I thought, oh yeah, didn't need it to dwell long enough, so I put some more on after that. And I'm taking off the wheel covers, giving them a blast off, a bit more force, bit of auto wheel in the barrels. Tesla wheels do not get particularly dirty because of the way the regenerative braking works and how the motors do a lot of regen. With that said, they still need cleaning, but with those covers that go on, the aero covers, they make them really, really easy. They don't get that dirty, and therefore you don't need to go crazy. This is the same day, would you believe it or not? Just the weather's turned for like half an hour. It's raining on me now, as you can tell. I am pre-washing with the Koch Chemie VB at 2% PIR, like I said. When you saw me brushing around just now, I was brushing on the glass into the window seams. I wasn't touching the trim. You wouldn't have been able to see that, but you should never really brush unless you've rinsed the pre-ross off first. However, for what I wanted to do there, that was suitable because I was brushing on the glass, which wouldn't scratch. Now I'm applying the shampoo via a lance. Now what's the shampoo? It's the same Koch Chemie VB at 1% PIR this time, so I dialed it back. One of the benefits of the Ava premium snow cannons, I find, is they've got a numbered dial, so you can move it to a certain point. It makes it much easier working out the panel impact ratio at different points. You know you're hitting the right bit, as opposed to the normal dials on like the MTM or the MJJC. You just kind of have to guess how much you've turned it. So I'm working in panel at the time because, you know, it was raining just now and now it's sunny and warm. Lovely. I'm going around applying the prototype version of Garage Therapy Decon V3. Sorry, trying to say Decon, I mean Iron Oxide V3, sorry. And rubbing that in and rinsing it off. I was very light with the agitation there, and there was shampoo in the bucket that I was using. Done that. Now I'm applying a bit of Garage Therapy WSR, the water spot remover, and then doing that all over as a demineralization agent before I rinse it down one more time and give it a dry. This has all been in preparation for a bit of protection. So I'm applying Infinity Wax Turbo 6 here, and I'm doing it via the new DA9 from Into Detailing. It's a good polisher. I haven't used it enough yet to kind of do the review of it. I've done a lot of jobs like this rather than full-on corrections yet. What I will find is that this Infinity Wax Turbo 6, it leaves a lovely finish, but it is an absolute pig to use. And I saw, since I've done this, that John at Forensic Detailing has come out with a review saying the same thing. So I wouldn't recommend that product, even though the finish is nice. The wipe off is horrendous. Bit breathless again. Enjoy the befores and afters, darling. Again, as I mentioned, there's a discount code Llama25 to use on the vacuum cleaner. It's really good. You won't be upset if you have that. That means the whole thing there, that vacuum cleaner, costs £75 with the discount. The products I've used are down in the description. If you've enjoyed this and you like it, let me know down in the comments if you want to see more like this, if you want to see more product reviews, and if you could drop me a like and subscribe, that'd be brilliant, because the majority of my viewers aren't subscribers. Thank you ever so much, darlings, for your time. I will see you in the next one.